Drew Wash here. This is from Domain to Profit, pre-recorded just today. Let me see, it's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, so I'm a couple hours in advance. I'm going to be traveling later on, so I'm going to be on a plane, probably sitting on the runway, seeing the start of this, hopefully kick off with all the software and things that run between. Thanks for joining me. I won't be able to see your chat or comments until after the show, so please, watching this on Restream or live, use the chat. Say hi to the other people in the chat. Always a good time. We all practically know each other as domain developers, as people that look at these expired domains that are going to come available this week and just dreaming and thinking about all the different things that we can build on them. So get the dreaming going, and we're going to go right into a little bit of looking through lists. So what we're going to spend time doing is looking through expireddomains.net. We're going to be doing our normal searches, looking for those gems mixed in amongst all the different domain names. We'll look at ones that you should possibly buy and those that are just, well, we'll talk about a couple of the possibly ones that and why you should avoid them, as well as I'm going to share with you why I am down here in Orlando, Florida, which is I'm here in Orlando for the first trade show since all this COVID stuff. So I wrapped up that trade show, and I'm going to share with you just a couple trade show lessons that I learned and why, after many, many years, I still typically go to almost every trade show our company does, the important things that I learn each time I do it. So we'll talk about that. But let's head on out to expireddomains.net, and you'll see here is where we have expired domains. We spend our time here on the marketplace, so we'll want to go over to that. And I'm just making sure that everything is clicking around okay. So one of the things I've heard, my screen is going to look like a black background. You can change that up under your account, under settings. This free site allows you to have a dark background or a light background, just a preference. So I use the dark mode. Doesn't mean you have to, but you certainly can. So we are going to, what expireddomains.net does is it helps us search through the hundreds of thousands of domain names that are expiring this week. And then we're going to pick out the ones that we think are awesome. So we're going to Marketplace Domains. We're going to go over to here to GD Expired, which is GoDaddy Expired Domains. All of these different boxes are different lists that you can search through. GoDaddy is going to have the most domains, so we always start there. You'll see by default, this week we have over 500,000, so 500,000 domain names in the expired domain auctions, one on GoDaddy. We are going to filter these out. We get rid of the numbers. We don't want numbers in our domain names. We get rid of the hyphens. I add in English, and I'm only looking for 1 to 3 words. If you're especially looking in, well, you will see a lot of domain names in the list, and if you want to see even more, then you can maybe include a 4th word. There are certainly four-word domains that are worthy of building on, especially if it's like an action word like call, and then an industry, 3 words. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Let me get these filters set up. We're going to apply these, and that is going to filter through that list for us. Thank you, expireddomains.net. And it's going to take us down from 500,000 to 100,000 domain names, of which we are going to look through about 400 of them. So we're only going to look through about 2 pages of domain names. So bear with me. We'll kind of go through. We will pick out a domain name that looks interesting. We will either give it a yes or a no. We'll talk about and look at the auction, like what's the price, when's it closing. So let's start on down the list. And I zoom in here. We're going to skip Virtual Lawyer. We talked about that last week. That will be ending shortly. Turnthepage.com, Peter, which actually, let me go over to a tweet of his. We'll start with a domain that he mentioned that we will see down the list. Peter, another domain developer, he says that there's a great domain coming up, petsalons.com, petsalons.com. And Peter shows some statistics showing how pet salons compared to some of the other niches that he looks at, and we will continue to do some of that research as well. Let me start to pull open my tools as that auction page comes up. So this domain, petsalons.com, is ending in 3 days. and is currently up over $1,100. That seems pretty appropriate price to me, but let's go look at the SEMrush for some keyword data. My aunt Eileen actually owns a pet grooming company, and I think of her for certain when I see pet salons. We all love our pets. I have a couple dogs at home. One is super old. One is a pain in the butt German Shepherd. Well, she's pretty old too anymore. But anyhow, love my dogs. I don't take them to a salon, but I know that a lot of people do take their dogs to groomers and salons and things like that. So look at this data. So we talked about last week a couple key pieces of data when we look at domain development. One of which is the exact match keyword volume, which we see here. Pet salons is generating over 5,000 searches for that keyword. And here's the cost per click, $2. So looking at that volume and look at this keyword difficulty here, these are all really good things that we like to see. Not much competition. Looks like if you buy this, you should be able to count on doing the necessary search engine optimization efforts to get this thing ranking as of some point, which the value of the traffic, each visitor you're getting, you can ballpark their value at around $2. So 50, 100,000 people coming to your site over the course of a month has value. Let me see, pet salon, that's 5.4 thousand pet salons near me. So people are actually picking up on this keyword. I'm guessing this trend here doesn't really show it, but I'm guessing that this is increasing in keyword volume rather than staying the same, because I've always just thought they were pet groomers, but evidently they're pet salons now. So it's looking pretty good. I like this domain. If you are really into pets and you're looking for a great domain name for your grooming directory, or you want to do something where you're working in pets, then this domain may very well be worth $5,000 to even $10,000 to you, assuming you have some development experience, and that's based off the keyword volume and the cost per click. If you absolutely love this, if I was really wanting to get into this industry, you better believe I'd be all in up to 10,000, and it's going to be a bargain right around the price that it's at, just a little above 1,000. If you get it under 2, I think it's going to be a pretty good steal. You can buy petsalons.com and do the local listings that we do for that we talked about. I come back to it pretty frequently. The idea of the local Legion 300, which is where you take and you find one business in each of the top 300 cities in the United States. Those 300 cities have over 100,000 people, so each one of them is very likely to have a pet salon in it. Therefore, you just need one per city. There's your first 300 listings. So you take those 300. It's a lot of effort to do it. It's not going to happen overnight, but you build out a basic site. You work to get your 300 companies. 300 times whatever your price is. So say $20 a month, $10 a month. Let's go with $10 a month. We'll even say $100 a year just to make our math nice and easy. So 300. So now you're talking $30,000 a year being produced from a domain name that you'll probably be able to get for a couple thousand, $4,000 to $10,000 max. So hopefully that's pretty helpful. That's how you can price as a developer more than an investor. An investor is going to want this domain name, $2,000 or so. But if you truly are passionate about developing this domain, you can go up higher just using the local Legion 300, finding your first 300 at a basic, $100 a year or something, and get things started to where you turn a few $1,000 domain into, $20,000, $30,000 a year in revenue, all passive also. So there we go. Let's head on back. Thanks for bringing that up, Peter. Hopefully we will see that down on the list here shortly as well. Our society. That sounds horrible. Okay, let's see here. Page down. So we're going to run through about 200 domains. I wish I had you here to ask me like, hey, why are you skipping on certain sites? Um, I'll try to pull a few domains out. For example, like here's a pretty good domain of a domain I will skip. Cellular Solutions. Cellular Solutions sounds like a great domain name. It's a pretty darn good domain name, honestly. The only thing is as far as development goes, it's not as clear. There's not a clear path. What does Cellular Solutions mean? I'm guessing it's going to be probably selling products and services related to cell phones. I don't know what kind of established market that would be. Maybe you could do locations of places that fix the screens. I'm guessing there's a lot of other domain names I would prefer for that. So there's not a clear definition of what this is. Let me pull this domain name up, and I'm going to do a search of some keyword data. Cellular Solutions. And I'll kind of show you how the keywords compare to what we just talked about with pet salons. So you'll see this domain's up over $410. As an investor, so somebody that buys a domain name with the purpose of selling it, Cellular Solutions would make maybe a good brand or a good retail storefront. It's a pretty good domain name, but as far as a development domain name, something we buy with the purpose of developing a product, a service, a solution on, it's not clear cut. Let's see, maybe I'm mistaken. Okay, here's a little bit of that red flag that I'm referring to that kind of just comes from intuition and gut, but I can show it to you here in data. And that is keyword volume for that match, 590 searches. So cost per click, you're talking for that traffic, there's people bidding on it. But the only thing is just there's nothing, I don't like anything about this. I don't like the word cellular. No one says cellular solutions. No one's going to type that in. Obviously, only 590 people a month do, and the cost per click over that short of amount of traffic, it's so small, the cost per click might be up because people really value that traffic. That doesn't mean you'll be able to capitalize on it. So I'm going to mark this one as mostly just a brandable, just taking two great words, putting them together in a way that is more of a brandable than a development project. And I'm going to put that one as a don't buy. So if you're looking for a development domain, do not buy Cellular Solutions. So that's a pretty good example of a domain on paper. So there is a little search engine. If you buy domains for search engine, that one might be a little, have some positive aspects to it. It's been registered since 1997, so it's a pretty old domain. The only thing is for development, though. That's what we're talking about. Specifically, taking a domain and developing it into a business. Okay, we're going to keep going down this list. See what we find that's good, see what we find that is not good. One of the most common thing I see as you're looking through these domains, you will see two words that seem, if they were single word domains, it would be great, but they put them together and it doesn't make 100%. Like Time Fund, Miami, well, okay, Miami Apartment's actually very niche. That one's, I'm going to pull that one up. So Miami Apartment, a nice little play. Oh, here's what we run into at domain auctions often is the person that bought it, they renewed it. They just renewed it late, so it showed up here. I will say Miami Apartment, if you lived in Miami or wanted to work in that local area, certainly something that you can make a few $1,000s a month off of just listing Miami Apartments. And that's because that's a pretty big city. A lot of people travel there. They do their research from remote is part of why that would matter some. So it doesn't matter. Somebody else's domain. Okay. I will mention gamingapp.com. So this one, let's see if it's going to actually go for auction here. Nope, that one is Gandhi too. I was going to say that one is another one that it sounds, I mean, those two words together, gaming app, are freaking amazing. Those are just absolutely money words, but put together, gaming app. Do you look for a gaming app? You look for a specific kind of, it it's not, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Let's go and look at the keywords, just see if we can back this up a little bit. Either one of these words by themselves will be millions and millions and millions of searches. But because they're together, you'll see here 27,000 searches with that keyword in it, but a lot of them are falling in the variations. So I'm gonna, yeah, okay. Again, it's already gone, so we don't have a chance at it. I would not be looking to get gamingapp.com. Maybe Matt back in my office, who is a gamer, would love it, but there's other domains I'd probably go with. Even like this down here, skydefense.com. If you're going to do a gaming domain, why not get a domain name that sounds like a game? Skydefense.com. There you go, Matt. Look at that one. Game Answers. Put together maybe a blog or something that people can ask questions like, how do I get to the secret level or something? Is that still a thing? I'm not a gamer much. How do I get to the secret level or something? And Gaming Answers could be blog posts about how to do difficult things in games. That could be fun. Waste Safe. What do you think Waste Safe's going for? You think Waste Safe is a product that you can safely get rid of waste, or do you think it would be a safe? I have no idea. Okay, well, wastesafe.com, that's it for GoDaddy, $12. I would skip on that. Again, two words that make sense, but put them together, and what's that even mean? Quick Passport? I don't know. Let's see if it comes up. Let's see what happens. Quick Passport, I love the name. I certainly know numerous people that have needed a passport quick, a quick passport. I don't know if you can actually, like, what would be on this. If you can actually run a service that helps people get a passport quick. I'm not sure of the process. It's all, here's what as entrepreneurs, what we do is we find problems and then we solve those problems. So people want a passport quick. Can you solve that problem? Can you find a way to get them the fastest passport, whether it's teaching them how to do it, where to go, what to do, whatever it may be, quickpassport.com, if you can solve the problem of how to get a passport quick, may be a good domain name for you. So that is ending in 7 days over on GoDaddy Auctions, and it's currently $50, and I would imagine that will go. Here's GoDaddy's estimate. I would probably think that it's going to go for, it might, nowadays things are a little crazy, so maybe it might hit 4 figures. But we'll see. Back in the day, that wouldn't have hit 4 figures. It may very well hit like 1,800 now. Back down the list. Again, we're going to try to get through 2 pages of domain names. After we get to this first page, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Florida Tow Show, which we just had towing.com at. First trade show since all the COVID stuff has locked everything down. A little bit of a sign that life is starting to get back to normal-ish, at least here in the United States, at least in the states that I travel to most often. Looking forward to getting back to New York. It sounds like they're starting to open up over the next week or two. Wearmasks.com. That's one of those cases where the plural takes away from it. If that was wear mask or wear a mask, that'd be a great domain. It was just registered last year. Shocker. Exclusive limos. That's close to being of an interest. When it comes to limos, people think a little bit on the exclusive side. Yeah, just not a huge. Ooh, here we go. Constructiontrailers.com. I'm going to go ahead and mark that one. Constructiontrailers.com. Let's see if this shows up. I so miss being able to see the chat and seeing what each of you are typing about these domains. Like which ones I'm missing. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of them in the list. So please, as you go along in the chat or in the restream, always comment which ones I am missing. What am I missing? What should I be talking about? How would you be developing these domain names? That's all. Let's use our imaginations, if nothing else, and get going on coming up with how to develop these. 2 days, 3 days, constructiontrailers.com is going to end. I like Construction Trailers. My gut says it's good, but let's find out. Construction Trailers. Oh yeah, 4,000 searches a month, $2. So not really setting any. Okay, so here's what I'm picking up off this. I'm seeing the variations on the keywords down in here. I'm also seeing the questions that people are asking, and what I'm realizing is construction trailers. I'm thinking like what you pull, put your equipment on and you pull around construction equipment. But it occurs to me, this right here, construction office trailers. That keyword's generating over 2,000 searches a month. And what happens at construction sites is they need an office, so they pull in a trailer that's basically an office, and they run the job site off of that. So this is a pretty good opportunity at construction trailer rentals, construction trailers for sale, all kinds of different things with construction trailers, as in the mobile offices that you can drop off at construction sites. Probably very, very niche, but I'm liking the domain name. It is certainly worth development. Every probably major city, so the local Legion 300, top 300 cities in the U.S., each will probably have a construction trailer company or multiples, so they'll want to compete to be the one representing that city. In constructiontrailers.com, you just get those couple hundred companies to list, profile themselves on construction trailers, and again, you're talking $10,000 to $20,000, $30,000 domain name with a basic featured company directory. So I will likely toss a bid down on that at some point, but it's going to require a login and a bunch of stuff. So I'm actually not going to mess with it now, but just know after this show, I'm going to do that and set up a bid on constructiontrailers.com. Construction links, it's so 90s, like links, 2 words that go, but they don't go together. Skip that one. Let me see, Miami rentals. So somebody must have been losing their domain names that was Miami, but they probably renewed them. And let's see, travel, trading, 2 great words. Falls as a brandable because it's 2 great words, but doesn't really say what it is. I look down these lists and I just can hear like people yelling at me like, "Oh man, did you see that one? What about that one?" And I wish I was here to see what you said and to actually do the domain name. So let me see here. That's funny. Okay, let me see. Budget properties, benefits live, candy paradise. This is the joy of domain development, is looking through big lists of domains. So we saw a couple domains that we got off of that. I'm going to kind of try to pull back up the normal camera and talk to you big screen a little bit just for one moment while I talk about trade shows. So as I mentioned, I'm down here in Orlando for the Florida Tow Show, which is where towing vendors, hundreds of towing vendors, so people that sell chains, insurance, financing, sell trucks, equipment related to towing cars. So literally the tow industry is very niche, which of course we own towing.com and worked in this industry for many years. So a lot of times I do trade. I think since 2007, I've shown and attended nearly every trade show that my company's done, even as the owner. So I started the company, and a lot of other people that started their companies, like they stopped attending the trade shows and just started sending crews. And when they stopped back by, they're like, "Drew, you're still working your own booth?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I want to tell you why. Why is it that I go to trade shows and talk to the people in those industries so much? Why I think you should also be looking at doing trade shows for your small business or your domain development property. So I made a couple notes. Just want to mention trade shows are in person. So finding the trade show is going to be the key. You need to find a trade show that is very specific to your industry. It's actually one of the things that I look for often when I'm looking for a domain development project. I look for domains that have industries associated with them. So towing has towing associations and trade shows associated with towing. Photo booths, for example, there are photo booth trade shows. So you can go to a trade show. So when we buy photobooths.com, there's literally Photo Booth Expo. So it's our domain name practically with an expo after it. A level of authority that you can get just by showing up at a trade show. They're kind of like, never heard of you guys, yet you have this domain name that represents the industry. It's like, yeah, instant authority, instant validation. It's what we talk about with domain development. So you can show up at these trade shows and you ideally find domain names that almost exactly match those trade shows, the industry, not the trade show specifically. So DJs, there's DJs Expos, there's several different DJ type shows for disc jockeys. And then there is photo booths, there's towing. I did a helicopter ride or a helicopter trade show one time. The key thing is finding a trade show where the audience will be who will be on your website. Either not so much who's going to visit the website, but who is going to be advertising on your website. You can either attend the show just to have conversations, but I love to exhibit at a trade show. The Florida Tow Show, for example, I think we paid like just under $2,000 for a small square of a space. And you pay another $1,000 or so for your signage, and you get all the signage set up. So a few $1,000, you're in this space, which I know a lot of people are like, few $1,000. Well, it's just consider it college, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be in person talking to the companies that are in that industry, and the amount that you're going to be able to learn is going to be huge. It's huge every single time. It goes on my expenses as advertising and marketing, but realistically, it's school. Every single trade show I go to, it is school, because I'm learning how to communicate the message, what the concerns of the customers are. For example, towing companies coming by and they're like, love what you guys are doing. I really wish it did this, or I have a concern that this doesn't work the way that I think it should work. And you get to hear all their concerns and problems firsthand from face to face, the person that's actually going to be paying you money, which in this internet world that we have, you can't say enough about actually being able to see somebody face to face and have a conversation with them. So the in-person aspect of a trade show allows for conversations, and those conversations you're going to be able to learn from. There's two things in particular that you will feel as you talk to potential customers. One, you're going to feel some love. If your existing customers are there, hopefully they are enjoying what you're already creating. And for example, at this trade show, we managed to talk to so many of our existing customers that were just happy to be able to see us again, loving what we're doing with the site. So it was a love fest. What we're doing well, we got to hear from our customers. And here's the part that I think is even more valuable for your company, for your domain development at a trade show, and that is the haters. The haters. The people that are going to show up at your trade show booth, listen to what it is that you offer, and then tell you why it's not going to work. Those, you can learn so many important lessons. One, it will fire up your gut. You're going to be ready to take out and do the work necessary to make it better. It's going to put fire, or don't let it discourage you. Let it fire you up. But then also the haters are going to let you know, well, one, there's so many different ways that a hater helps you. One, you could possibly learn quickly. They can let you know something that you can improve. But two, you're also going to be able to divide those who are going to be your customers from those who will be your customers. Those who will be your customers from those who will not be. Often, there's just going to be haters in your industry that will never sign up for your stuff, You can let them push you on, spur you on to do great things. But what you can also do is know, okay, well, people are signing up that love us. What characteristics do they have? And then these haters, what characteristics do they have? How do we find more of the lovers? How do we find more of the people that we actually can benefit? And that's when you get into the marketing aspect of who are they? What need, what problem are you solving for them? How do you communicate to the lovers, the people that love what you're doing? Just ignore, just straight up, right up on your headlines when you're marketing, say, we are for these people, not for these people. And it just separates everybody. The haters that hate you still, the lovers are going to love you even more because you're putting a line in the sand and saying this is for you. So trade shows are great at dividing people out. And then the other is just the rapid learning and product improvement that you can create from a trade show. You're going to be hands-on with customers. You're going to be demonstrating your product. You're going to improve your communication. You're going to improve your marketing message because you'll have people walking by. At our first trade shows, we had a big sign that said, "We are towing.com." That was the banner that we had behind us. And everybody would be like, "Okay, towing.com, what do you do?" And it's like, ooh, we were trying to like act like we are the .com of the industry. We thought that was going to be enough to push us over, get us going. No, we made a big mistake. People wanted to know what the heck we did. So now all of our signs mention internet marketing and the things that they can get from towing.com. So you learn lots of lessons to improve your product, to improve your communication, to improve your marketing. So when you pay that couple $1,000s for a trade show, potentially less depending on how large the show is, consider that spending education. You're going to college for that industry, and of course you can sign people up too. We do well at trade shows. We didn't do well at first, so it isn't unless you've done a lot of trade shows, chances are you're going to fail more than succeed. So at first, but nowadays they pay for themselves. So there you go. There's another good reason to come to trade shows. So we are on page 2. We're going to go through this page, and then we are going to wrap up this show. I have to, after I'm done recording this, I got to process it, get it up on the site, so that way it's ready to go to you by 3. And here in about 30 minutes, I have to leave for the airport. So there's a lot going to happen over the next 30 minutes. Okay, and next week I will mention I will be back live in my office bringing you from Domain to Profit from my home desk, or well, my office desk, but my main space, which I love to be there, but I also love to travel, so travel wins. Travel wins. Disinfect Solutions, something's wrong with that one. When I say something's wrong with Disinfect Solutions, like, it doesn't sound right. Nobody says, what do we say? Disinfect Solutions, disinfection. Anyhow, it doesn't sound right. And if it doesn't sound right, you just need to skip it. Don't talk yourself into it. Go with your gut. Your gut is saying no, move on. There's too many other domain names, too many other fish in the sea. Sorry, let me go back up. Nice thing is we're not seeing a lot. I wish I had, like I said, I wish I had your voice in my head, like staffing jobs. 2 words that kind of go together. They're the same industry, but they're 2 words put together. Staffing jobs, like, I guess if you're looking for jobs as somebody who handles staffing, I like, they're 2 words. They sound like they go together, but they just, well, let me look it up. Let's go back to the data. And this is the tough part, is I don't know anything about some of these industries. I would probably not pursue them. Okay, see, this is exactly it. Let me see, staffing jobs. This exact match keyword is generating 2.4 thousand searches each month, $1.30 cost per click. So there are people searching for this exact keyword. I don't know this industry. If you know what the heck staffing jobs would show up, we can go out to Google. let's just see what the advertisers, this is kind of the next step. So we look at the cost per click, the keywords, and now we're looking to see if the advertisers use staffing jobs. Because if you remember, we talked about it last week when we talked about what not to buy. The keyword may look like it has actual search volume on it, but the actual money, the people that will be paying you may not use those actual words. And you'll look here, I see staffing agency. I'm not seeing staffing jobs at all. So I'm going to do a search on the page. So Indeed, this is a natural search engine ranking down here. Indeed is targeting staffing jobs, the keyword. But you'll see even down here, only this one page has the keyword staffing jobs. That's their SEO person creating this page for that keyword. I can pretty much guarantee it. The staffing agency jobs, that is probably their actual page. That's probably, I guarantee that's probably their the page that generates more traffic, or the keyword staffing agency is what they're targeting. And you'll see, again, I am highlighting on the page staffing jobs. Nobody is targeting those specific keywords. So this is I would pass this domain. The exact matches means that there is money. If you can get this domain for, I don't know, let's see. If you can get it for a couple $100, then sure, you can make something of it. Let's see if it's even available. Spend all this time on it. I'm sure it's going to say not available. Okay, $45. If you can get that for a couple $100, sure, it might be a little project for you. There's a lot of different angles. You can do staffing jobs. You can do something along the lines of some knowledge base, like here's how to hire, here's how to find people in this industry. Maybe do some video trainings with that. Do some job listings. I don't know that industry again. I don't think people are using staffing jobs very often. The money's not behind that specific keyword is what I'm saying. Hopefully that makes sense. So staffing jobs, a couple $100 might be worth it. Anything more than that, it's not a A-level domain development opportunity. It's like a B-. The funny thing is, it started off as a don't buy it, and then it turned into a buy it, just don't pay much. If you work in jobs or staffing, then I could see it being a better domain name. So, in towing, for example, we own over 30 towing related domain names. So if you run jobs websites, you might try to get domain names that are similar to your primary domain and just redirect them all into your one great site, therefore just kind of protecting your brand. So it may never develop on its own, but you're protecting a developed domain nonetheless. As long as it's being developed, you won't get on my bad side. Just as long as there's a solution related to the keywords and domain. Systems. Talk about one that I would never like. System. What? System of systems. Systems. Our newsletter. It could be fun. I don't even know what you would necessarily do with that. I'm sure there's a decent amount of keyword volume with our newsletter. I think I might have mentioned that last week, actually. Sell my yacht. See, there's 3 keywords that it's very specific. I don't know if people actually sell their yachts. Don't they usually lease? Anyhow, sell my yacht. Let's get into the keywords a little bit. $77, praised by Google or GoDaddy over 2,200. I would put this one, if you can get this one for $600 or less, it's probably going to be worth it. Mostly just because the people that need to sell a boat, the happiest day that I think people that buy boats have is the day that they buy it and then the day that they sell it. So those who are looking to get out of an expensive boat, they're probably willing to do whatever in the world they can do to sell that bad boy. In this domain name, it's going to end here shortly after the live broadcast. So if you're watching this live, it's going to be ending very soon. So you may want to check out sellmyyacht.com, and it would just be a classified type website. They pay, it adds them to the site with photos. They can customize a profile listing the features and things of it. Do something pretty basic, or if you want to do a crazy play, you can do something where it's commission based, or it only pay if it sells to the site or something like that. I like the monthly fee or the one-time charge. Okay, well, I am running out of time, so I'm going to try to whip down through these last few pages. Milk sale. Okay. Well, there we go. I think we've looked through quite a few domain names. Hopefully we found some that you've been interested in, and we have some great domains that we've brought to you this week. We talked about trade show some, as well as hopefully helped you find a domain name that you were yelling at the screen like, Drew, you should check this out, but I'm not here live. So hopefully you commented in the chat to others. I do appreciate you checking us out even when it's a pre-recorded video. I look forward to being live with you Monday at 3 p.m. In the meantime, though, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button and commented, because I love to know you're here. Love to know that you're out there, because I do this for you. I love just getting domains, turning them into websites, and helping you do the same to make money, change your life, and just have the experiences that I've been very fortunate enough to have as a domain developer. So I'm going to get off here. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next week on From Domain to Profit.